Hello everyone, Hubert here, and really special guests are here today with me, Paula and Dave Lombardo as Venamoris. How are you guys? All good before the release?
Very
Oh,
good.
very good. Excited, nervous.
Mhm.
You can never get used to these things.
Sure. So, releasing every single album is something stressful, something special also for you, Dave, as you released many albums in your career.
Yes.
All right. Whose idea was that to actually start Venamoris 2 years ago?
Well, I think that it just sort of happened organically. I had left music for quite a while, and during pandemic, Dave and I just, started talking about it quite a bit, like why I stepped away. And through those conversations, eventually we started figuring out, well, Dave started figuring out, like, how can I get her back to
Hmm.
this? And it's a very long story, but he got me from playing songs on my guitar to playing songs on the piano, and it started opening up some new ideas for me. And then we went on to what you opened a track on Pro Tools, and that opened up a whole other life for me. So at first it was just Dave trying to get me back into music. And then as I started writing and the ideas started coming, we started kind of working together on it.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't think at that time it was ever meant to be anything more than just Dave and I creating music together and him really helping me get back to something that I used to love so much. And then before you know it, we had the first album done,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
went from there.
Yeah, it was difficult. She wasn't having it. She didn't want to have anything to do with the music industry. She obviously had some bad experiences, and with people telling her in what direction of music to go into, and everybody was telling her what to do and what's best for her instead of her saying, no, this is what I want to do. This is how I
Yeah.
want to write. And I basically told her that this is you do you be who you want to be. You be the singer, you be the artist you want to be, and don't allow anybody to dictate that to you. So with that kind of push, and it wasn't that easy. Okay, it wasn't just like in the one sentence that I'm saying right now. This was a process,
Hmm.
and and one thing led to another. And when she said Pro Tools, it's a music software,
Hmm.
to create music and record, which I'm very familiar with, and so I taught her, and that's when the floodgates of creativity just started flowing for her. And then I started just helping her dial it in, and here we are on the second record, which is pretty exciting for me, especially to have, my wife, we're part of a music writing team. And
Hmm.
it's pretty cool. Aside from everything else I do, when I come home, we go to work together. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, To Cross or To Burn will be out on February 28th, and it's your second album as Venomorice, as you said. I know you guys made the first one almost entirely at your home. Was that something different with the second one, or it was basically maybe the same, like
Oh,
creating process?
it's the same. It was the same. We do it all here. Um, Yeah, and then when we have other musicians come in and perform a lead or just some overdubs, we send them the files and they record them at home,
Hmm.
and then they send them back to me, and then I uh, you know apply it to the music.
Okay. Are you guys writing songs together in the home studio, or maybe creating also separately, and then bringing your own ideas to the studio and work on them
Yeah,
together?
she yeah.
Yeah, the To Cross or to Burn was written when Dave was on tour with Testament when he first started touring with them. He went on a about a 4 or 6 weeks run, and I just had a flood of lyrics and melodies throughout.
Hmm.
I write at night primarily, and I'd wake up and record the melody, just a little basic voice recorder, piano, and my vocal, and I'd send it to him on tour. and then he would kind of let those ideas marinate, I guess. And when he comes home, then we create together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was the most challenging, maybe, while working on this second album?
Wow, that's hard. I really enjoy all of it. Honestly, I think that I don't know that it's really challenging because we're really enjoying the process.
Mm-hmm.
And when Dave comes home and he kind of gives me, what he thinks, and we start structuring it, it really becomes like, it's a lot of fun for us. We really, really enjoy everything. I think, honestly, this probably sounds silly, but the most challenging thing for me is putting it out, getting past my fears of just putting that out there, putting my most intimate thoughts out into the world. Mm-hmm. And that's a little scary for me and a bit challenging. And then I think things like this, interviews and photo shoots and stuff, those things are very challenging. But the creative process is really enjoyable because there's a lot of trust and respect with us.
I can't think of, anything that challenges us, aside from during the creative process where we go back and forth. It's like, is this the right sound? Is this the right synthesizer sound or the right drum sound? Or, we need more instrumentation. We need some strings. Mm-hmm. Those are the challenges, but those are kind of like artistic challenges that are pretty much normal. And maybe keeping our puppy quiet, while we're recording, that's probably the only thing, but yeah, it's really not. It's pretty smooth.
Okay, yeah, and to be honest, I can hear that on the records. Animal Magnetism is my favorite song so far. I love that heavy riff. That's actually a pretty metal song, I would say.
Welcome.
Whose idea was that to go heavy in this one?
Well,
no, it's both. Later.
Man, I don't know. I don't remember. You said holding on to nothing, right?
No, Animal Magnetism.
Oh,
Animal Magnetism, yes.
The album, I think, in its entirety went a little darker this time around. And that was, like I said, Dave being on tour, and I was very introspective, and things got kind of dark. Animal Magnetism, the album, I don't know what happened other than Dave and I we were hanging out one night listening to music, and he just all of a sudden said, I know what song we have to cover. And he pulled out the Scorpions album and played it for me. And I said, absolutely not. How would I ever approach that with my voice? Mm-hmm. I just couldn't envision what he had in mind. And he had it all laid out. He wanted the industrial vibe. He wanted Gary Holt playing guitar, period, like that. He had this all mapped out. And then after a few days, I started picking out the bass line that you hear throughout the song on the piano, and he heard me playing it and got really excited, opened up a session for me. And
she went ahead and started recording it. And then we recorded the intro and the foundation, and then we sent it. And then I hit up Gary Holt and I asked him, and he and his wife, loved the song or the idea. And he said, yeah, I'll do it for sure.
That gave us kind of the go ahead from that point.
Yeah. So we were like, wow, okay, so this is really coming together pretty well. And then he was interested and willing to do the video too, which was really nice.
Okay, great. In truth, I hear someone's voice in the background. Is that your voice, Dave, or maybe someone else?
Uh-oh.
In truth?
Did we miss something?
Yeah, in truth.
In the song Truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all me on the vocals.
No, that's all her on vocals.
Yeah, however, you can hear Dave singing in the shadows.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually contributed because we did so many vocals to get that big kind of choir sound out. And so we needed that male voice in there, so he had to step up. He did great.
Thank you.
Do you have selected days in your calendars maybe to work on your music, to create new music, or maybe it happens more spontaneously?
Yeah, it's spontaneous. you can't force a creative person. It's very difficult. I find when you're inspired, spontaneously inspired, let's say, in about an hour after our interview, I'll get inspired to play something on the drums, or play something on a guitar or keyboard, whatever. You have to capture that moment. You have to, really embrace when it happens, because there are days that we don't have, there's nothing. I'm not interested to go into the studio. I don't want to touch anything. I just walk away for like 2 days, 3 days, but then I'll come back, and same with her.
Yeah, I definitely, it's spontaneity for sure. As far as lyric writing, that just comes to me. It happens when it happens. I'm not somebody that can go into a room with 4 or 5 people and write a song. At least I don't think I am so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not maybe it's not work. It's only artistic. It's all about artistic experience in this
Yes,
project.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's the only way to approach. I mean, for me personally, it's the only way to approach music and any other form of art medium. You have to really let your soul speak through what you do. So it's authentic. You can tell when something is put together for the sake of writing something. You can feel it. It just doesn't have anything. And I've experienced that with many bands, and the best stuff that you do is the stuff that comes up naturally and spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dave, what gives you more fun these days? Still playing heavy stuff with Misfits, for example, or maybe more gentle stuff like with Venamoris?
Uh, Misfits, Mr. Bungle, Dead Cross, all that. I love playing. That's my that's like a vitamin. That's like an energy drink, and then, there's the high energy, and then I'll come home and it's nice and mellow, uh, and I could easily weave in and out of these different styles of music. I mean, it's almost like, when I go on tour and I play heavy music, if I want to listen to some music, let's say in my bunk while I'm in the bus or in my hotel room, sometimes it's not what people might think. It could be just ambient drone music, just one note, just to kind of stabilize my intake of sonic sound. It's really interesting. So with this balance, I think it's great, because I'm able to then, after I do Venamoris, then when I go on tour with a hardcore band, then I am just that much more empowered to, kick ass.
Okay, great. How are you guys listening to music these days? Is it streaming or maybe vinyls, or the other way? You, Paula, and you, Dave.
I think we do a little of both. I mean, I think we discover a lot of new sounds and different things going down these wormholes on YouTube and various things. But we have a massive collection of vinyl here, and it's very common for us to just put on a record. So I think it's a nice balance of both. But yeah, what
I
about
really like, vinyl.
you?
All my CDs are all in boxes, so now it's just vinyl and streaming and YouTube. Um, just whatever pops up. It's like, wow, hey, this is really good, and then we'll start researching.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then buy the album.
yeah,
Like we always end up, if we find something online, we end up buying a physical copy.
yeah,
Because I don't think there's anything better than, for me,
Yeah.
reading the lyrics, opening something up, reading everything that I can. I think
Yeah.
for you, it's who played what, and
Yeah.
production and engineers and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, that's a full experience, and the
yes.
vinyls are great. Thank you guys so much for this amazing conversation, and all the best for you with the release. Or maybe I have one another question. Are you guys planning to tour with this project?
Well, we've had some offers, but at this moment, again, like Paula said, you know, her and her fears and what she wants to do is definitely we're taking little baby steps.
Yeah, we're taking steps, and I think too that you know there's a certain vision that we both have for the music, and I don't think either of us would want to go out with like tracks and just Dave and I on stage, because I think it's gotten a little bit bigger than that. We would want to have musicians on stage with us, and obviously that can be, if you treat people correctly, that can be a bit expensive. Yeah. So for a brand new project, it's kind of hard to put together what your actual vision is. Yeah. As well.
But there is a vision. There's you know, there's drums, guitar, bass, vocalist. There's we need 2 cellos, a viola, a violin, a synthesizer, and a piano.
Yeah.
So that tells you
it's a lot.
It's a lot of people. So you know, if we want to do it right, that's what it's going to take. And you know, hopefully you know, maybe that will happen, you know. But right now we don't see it. We're just, what we like to do is write music and put it out. And that's what we're going to do for now until that day happens, you know. Okay. Who knows? You never know.
So maybe with the third album, you're going to go on tour. Thank you guys so much for this amazing conversation.
Thank you so much.
All the best for you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.